Hi there, Davey Cretin for Cretin Classics, and the long delayed video is finally here. My voice is better, so I'm going to attempt to tape this video, and tape it I will. This is my top 12 albums of 2025. I know it's a little late, and I thank you for your patience, so let's jump right into it. Now this one I'm going to start off at number 12 is a little bit of a cheat because it came out so late in December of 2024. I didn't get it until 2025 as I knocked something over by gesticulating. So here it is. It is the Underlords of the Overworld, Lottery of Your Life. And some of you might recognize a little bit that it's a little reminiscent of Blue Oyster Cult, one of my favorite bands. So I found these guys, the YouTube channel is Underlords Universe. They had a lot of similar tastes that I had, so I started watching their YouTube channel. They had music. I checked out their music. I liked it. So this is my number 12. A little bit about it, really fast. Lottery of Your Life. Came out late December of 2024, so I'm including it in my 2025 albums. It's got 8 songs. 29 minutes long. It's on Bandcamp, Spotify, YouTube. Now, the CD I ordered has 14 cuts. Ooh, a lot of bonus cuts. So you get 14 cuts an hour on the CD. So the CD is definitely worth getting. It's a mix of classic rock with flourishes of hard rock, a little bit of metal, some prog. I think out of the 8 tracks on the regular album, you have 3 instrumentals, the opener and the closer, one in the middle. That's a really good instrumental. The rest are vocal tracks. My favorite songs on here, Sugar Man. Sugar Man is a great song. It's just under 4 minutes and it rocks. It's got the catchiest chorus. Great song, Sugar Man. That's the one to check out first. Lottery of Your Life, the title track, and I'm going to try to pronounce this next one correctly. Ordo Obstrusis Oculus is a really good song. Now with the bonus tracks, 2 of the bonus tracks feature keyboard player Derek Sherinian, who's played with Alice Cooper, Kiss, Dream Theater, millions of other bands. And ex-Iron Maiden vocalist Blaze Bayley actually sings the song on the CD bonus tracks. So check these guys out. I'm going to be guesting on their YouTube channel later it's later this month in January. I'm going to be on their channel. And late February, early March, they are going to be on Cretin Classics. 2 of the band members, Brent and Brian Cleveland, are coming on. And they've already been on my channel. We did our favorite Judas Priest song, so check that out. Moving on to number 11, the new Ghost album, Skeletor, that came out in April of 2025. 10 cuts, 47 minutes. Papa the Fifth Perpetua and his group of nameless ghouls are joined on 7 of the 10 songs by Opeth guitar player Frederick Ackerson. Hope I'm pronouncing his name right. Highlights to me on the new Ghost album, Peacefield, Satanized, Cenotaph. Oh, Cenotaph, what a great guitar solo on that song. Umbra and Excellus. It's not my favorite Ghost LP, but it's not a bad one. There's always great songs on every Ghost album. Moving on to my number 10 album. Came out in March of 2025. 9 songs, 50 minutes long. The album title is Curious Ruminant. It is by Jethro Tull. Yes, Ian's voice isn't what it once was, but it still sounds like Jethro Tull. Bonus points for some sterling flute and acoustic guitars from Ian throughout the album. Kinetic keyboard work, especially on the first few tracks, from John O'Hara, and old friend Andrew Giddings, who used to be a member of Tull, pitches in on this album. You get some fiery fretwork on electric guitar from the new boy in the band, Jack Clark. This is easily my favorite of the last 3 Jethro Tull albums that have come out in the 2020s. Standout songs to me, Puppet and the Puppet Master, the title track, Curious Ruminant, Over Jerusalem, and the near 17-minute epic song, Drink from the Same Well. Forgot to mention that this is the 24th studio album from Jethro Tull. If you add in the 6 Ian Anderson solo albums under Ian's name and under Ian Anderson's Jethro Tull. Gets a little complicated. 30 total albums for Jethro Tull and Ian Anderson. 30 albums in over nearly 60 years. Not too shabby at all. Good work, Ian. Keep those records coming because we enjoy them. That's my number 10, Jethro Tull. Number 9 was a surprise for me. Came out July 2025. 14 cuts, 54 minutes. Produced and mixed by one of my favorite producers. That is Mr. Bob Ezrin. And if you haven't guessed it, after I take a sip, I will tell you. The Revenge of Alice Cooper by the Alice Cooper Band, although it's under Alice Cooper's name, technically. This album sees the surviving Alice Cooper Band finally reunite for a full album. Technically, it's their 8th studio album together and their first new release in 52 years. Holy cow. The last full LP together was 1973's Muscle of Love. It's a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. The guys have been collaborating a little over the past 15 years or so. There's a song on an Alice Cooper record here. There's a couple of songs there. But this is their first full album done together. You got Alice Cooper on vocals, Neil Smith, drums and percussion, Dennis Dunaway on bass, and there's some mighty fine bass playing on this record. Michael Bruce on guitar, and the late Glenn Buxton. Guitar on 2 tracks on the album and one of the bonus tracks. Highlights, the first single, Black Mamba, I really like. Second single, Wild Ones, is really good. It's like a biker anthem. Kill the Flies, the 6-minute mini epic, Blood on the Sun. Great song. Probably my favorite song on the record. And then the last song, which is not a cover of an Ozzy Osbourne song, See You on the Other Side. Just happens to have the same title. I would say with 14 songs at 54 minutes, not even including the bonus tracks, it might run a little long. There might be a few too many songs. There's a cover of a Yardbirds song, I Ain't Done Wrong. I don't think that was necessary. I might delete one other song and make it a more concise 12-song album. However, as it is, this album is much better than it has the right to be. So great job, Alice and the boys. Really good comeback album. Definitely worth checking out. Moving on to number 8, an old favorite of mine. I've spoken about her recently on Grant's Rock Warehouse. Talking about Tori Amos. In February of 2025, almost a year ago, she dropped an album out of the blue that wasn't even planned. The Music of Tori and the Muses. 9 cuts, 37 minutes long. Now, back in the 90s, I listened to Tori a lot. Also in the 2000s. I even saw her live at least half a dozen times. This is the soundtrack to a children's book that she wrote, and it was a surprise release. It was also nominated for a Grammy Award for Best Children's Album in 2025. This album definitely surprised me as well as to how much I enjoyed it. I didn't think after being away from Tori for a bunch of years I'd enjoy a record, especially a soundtrack to a kid's book. Took me by surprise. It's really good. Maybe it's the brevity that it's only 9 tracks, 37 minutes. It's a lot shorter than the Alice Cooper. So that might work in its favor. My favorite tracks here, the 6-minute song, Building a Mountain. And Building a Mountain just builds and it has great melodies. My favorite song on the album. Insect Ballet is also good. Anna's Bakery, with it's got a subtle, snaky lead guitar line by Tori's husband, Mark Hawley, plays the guitar on that song. Spike's Lament, there's some nice guitar work that's reminiscent when Mark Hawley is playing like an 80s Mark Knopfler. So you get this Dire Straits guitar sound from the mid-80s on a Tori Amos song. And you wouldn't think it works, but it's pretty cool. Let's see. And also Rain Brings Change. So I'm really looking forward to her new album, which comes out in a few months. I think it's April of 2026, In Times of Dragons. So my number 8 is Tori Amos. Moving on to my number 7, another old band that started way back in the 70s. This came out late in the year, November 2025. 11 songs at a really tight 40 minutes. All washed up by Cheap Trick. This is another album that's quite excellent and comes 48 years after their debut. Wow. 48 years after the debut. Can you believe it? It's their 21st studio album. You have tons of beefy guitar riffs. You got meaty hooks. No duff tracks here. The first time I heard it, there was a song I was on the fence about, but the more I played the record, the more I liked that song. So no bad songs. My favorite tracks here are probably the title track, All Washed Up, the riff that won't quit, really good. The Best Thing, Bad Blood's another really good one. And the last song, although it's a little strange, I really enjoyed it. Wham, Boom, Bang. It's a short song, it's about 2.5 minutes, really good. Great work from Rick, Robin, and Tom. So I really enjoyed the Cheap Trick album. That's my number 7. Moving on to number 6, an artist I hadn't played in a long time. Played her greatest hits, and I said, oh, these were such good songs back in the 80s, back in the 90s, even into the 2000s. And then she put out a record, May of 2025, another short album, 37 minutes, 10 songs. Suzanne Vega, Flying with Angels. And it's a really good record. I wrote down, surprisingly exquisite. This album hit me out of the blue. It's been a long time since I heard any of her newest stuff, but this one really grabbed me out of all the newer albums from older artists that I hadn't been keeping up with for a while. Her longtime collaborator, Jerry Leonard, produced the album, and he plays some great guitar on the record as well. He's on every song. She even interpolates Dylan's I Want You into her own song entitled Chambermaid. So the melody, you're like, this sounds familiar, but it doesn't sound familiar. And it's an interpolation of Bob Dylan's I Want You called Chambermaid. This segues into an unexpected 70s funk soul number, Love Thief. And yet somehow it works. I was like, what the heck is this? Just out of the blue, like track 5 on the record. It's like, and Suzanne Vega pulled it off. Really good song. Other favorites of mine, the first song, Speaker's Corner. The title cut, Flying with Angels. The song Witch. Another song called Rats is almost, dare I say it, hard rock. It's got like really good electric guitars just up front and in your face. And it's a fast, angry song. Maybe it's about all the rats in New York City. Egads. But it's still a good song. And Galway, which I think ends the album. The electric guitar work on this album makes it more of a rock album than a folk album. So this was a very pleasant surprise, my number 6, Suzanne Vega. Coming in now, I'm not really going to talk about these next bunch of albums because I've done individual shows on them. From July 2025, 13 songs, 41 minutes, Circling from Above by Styx. That is my number 5. I've already done a few shows for this album on my channel. I did a show on the first single, the advanced single, Build and Destroy. I did a full album review. So instead of talking about this record here, I'll briefly mention my appearances on Grant's Rock Warehouse. Yes, I will. We did a whole Styx series covering every studio album, the major live album, and we even just did a special show on the quote-unquote Lost Styx album. So check that out over on Grant's Rock Warehouse. Now, Grant's going to be coming on my channel, and by the end of the month, we will have another Styx video on Cretan Classics. We each will be picking our top 12 tunes by Styx. So my number 5, Circling from Above by Styx. My number 4 came as another surprise to me. This came out February of 2025, almost a year ago. 10 cuts, 77 minutes long. Guess what, babies? It's Prog. Yes, it is. A band I've been listening to since the late 90s, early 2000s, and I'm talking about Mostly Autumn with their record Seawater. Now, if you don't know Mostly Autumn, they're sort of... I spoke about them on Grant's Rock Warehouse the other night. We were doing our favorite songs of 1998, and I went back to their first album, For All We Shared, and I picked out the album's 10-minute centerpiece, Heroes Never Die. So these guys have long songs, anywhere from 4 to 10 minutes, maybe even longer. They got some short songs occasionally. The band is led by guitar player, lead singer Brian Josh, and his wife, Olivia Sparrin Josh, is the singer. She's been with them since, I think, the mid-2000s. She started out as a backup singer. When their original singer, Heather Finlay, left, she took over the lead singer role, and she married Mr. Josh. She's got a really good voice, just like Heather Finlay. Brian Josh, he's got an interesting voice, and he uses it really well. He's a great songwriter. Probably his best thing, his guitar playing. He's sort of a cross between Andy Latimer from Camel and David Gilmour from Floyd. In fact, Mostly Autumn started out as a Floyd tribute band back in the 90s, and then they morphed into an original band. But he's got that tone. He plays a little faster, he plays a little harder, so it's sort of an updated version, but he is a phenomenal guitar player, and his solos just soar. So let me write down what I wrote about this. Mostly Autumn are a UK prog band that have a lot of influences and touchstones, male-female dual lead vocals. I said what I wrote down about Brian Josh. They've got folk and Gaelic touches too. That sort of remind you of, I guess, mid to late 70s Jethro Tull, that folk trio of albums they did, sort of reminiscent of that a little. So if that intrigues any of you, check them out. Their stuff is online. It's on Spotify. It's on YouTube. You could go out and buy their CDs directly from the band. Great stuff. Now, many Mostly Autumn songs start out in a mellow fashion, and then they build and they just erupt into this progressive rock. That's awesome. Great crescendos in their music. I wrote down that co-lead vocalist Olivia Sparrin, along with her husband Brian, brings the power, precision, and passion to her performance, especially on this album, the song If Only for a Day. Great song. Long-serving keyboard player Ian Jennings, I think he left the band once but came back. He plays for the song without showing off, but he definitely makes his presence known on every Mostly Autumn album that he plays on. Other standouts on the album include the 9-minute opener, Let's Take a Walk, Remember All the Rain, and those two songs feature Nightwish member Troy Donockley on Uilleann pipes and low whistle. So that's what gives it the Gaelic feel, the folk feel, the Celtic feel. The 9-minute, When We Ran, the 7-minute Future is a Child, and then the mammoth 19-minute title track, Seawater. So this is a really good album. I have most of the Mostly Autumn albums, no pun intended, but this is the one. I don't think I have the last one, but I have every other one except the last one and this new one, Seawater. But this one just really grabbed me. Great playing, great songs, memorable prog, and the guitar work on the album, phenomenal. Mostly Autumn, Seawater. That's one word, S-E-A water, Seawater. Great album, really cool album cover too. Moving on to my number 3, came out also almost a year ago, February of 2025. 8 songs, 71 minutes. It is Dream Theater Parasomnia. And I'm not going to speak too much about this album because once again, I've done 2 shows on this record. I did a song on the advanced single, and then I did a full album review. 3 if you include my concert review that I did of the final show of the 2025 Dream Theater American Tour, or worldwide tour, I should say, although they will be touring a little this year. Moving on to my number 2 album, 5 cuts, 53 minutes from March of 2025. IQ, Dominion, this is my number 2. Excellent album cover. One of my favorite bands, one of my favorite progressive rock bands. I've been listening to IQ since the late 80s when I found one of their albums in a record store I was working at. I put it on. It was really good. You got great artwork. You got the trifold CD. There's a booklet in here. I'm not going to bother taking it out. I'm not going to speak too much about this record. I did a show on this record With me, Bicycle Legs from Australia, his channel Bicycle Legs Talks Music, and Todd Evans, Todd's channel. And these guys are both contrarians from the Contrarians channel with Martin Popoff, Grant Arthur, etc., etc. Recurrent with Todd Evans. The three of us reviewed this album. So if you want to hear more about IQ Dominion, check out our show on it. We reviewed the whole album, and those guys did a superb job. Excellent work, men. Thank you for coming on. Moving on to my number one album, before I go into a few honorable mentions just briefly. It's got to be this record that just came up and whooped me upside my head. Spock's Beard, The Archaeoptimist. There it is. Beautiful artwork. I put the hype sticker on there. 6 songs, 61 minutes. Nice CD too. Let me just say what I wrote about it. Came out on my birthday, November 21st, 2025. Yet another CD I've done 2 shows about already. One for the advanced single Invisible and one a full album review. I want to thank my friend Connor at Madfish at Snapper Music for sending me an advance copy. He hooked me up with the advance copy, so I got to listen to this album. Awesome keyboards on every track from keyboardist Ryo Akamoto. He spearheaded the whole project here. Great album. Spock's Beard, The Archaeoptimist. Great keyboard work from Ryo. Great guitar work from Alan Morse. Band's firing on all cylinders. Wonderful progressive rock. That's my number one of 2025. Just some quick honorable mentions. I'm going to do 5 really fast. Agropelter, The Book of Hours, came out July 2025. 7 songs, 45 minutes. It's progressive rock. Instrumental symphonic progressive rock from Norway. And after glowing reviews from Scott Lade on the Prog Corner, my buddy Scott Lade, I will be back on his channel in a few months, and we have cooked up a very cool show for you guys. So stay tuned for my 3rd appearance on the Prog Corner. So after rave reviews from Scott Lade at the Prog Corner and Pete Pardo on Sea of Tranquility, I checked this album out, Agropelter, and I agree with them. A guy named Kay Olsen, K-A-Y Olsen, handles all the guitars, the bulk of the bass, and the keyboard leads too. Special guest, Jonas Reinhold from Car Mechanic. Used to be in the Flower Kings too, on fretless bass. Some really good fretless bass on this album. If you love that, and if you love great symphonic progressive rock, although it's instrumental, it's got hooks galore, it's catchy, spectacular keyboard and guitar work throughout. That's Agropelter, Agropelter, The Book of Hours. It's on streaming. Speaking of streaming, this band, their new album or new albums are on Bandcamp. Talking about Echolin, Time Silent Radio 2, which is 2 long songs, 45 minutes total, and Time Silent Radio 7, which is 7 short songs that add up to 45 minutes. They both came out in March. I wrote down the Pennsylvania... sorry. Let me take a sip and do that again. I'm trying to rush through this. The Pennsylvania Proggers, I got it, returned to the fray with 2 separate CDs. One with a 29-minute song and a 16-minute song, and the other with 7 shorter songs. They've toned down some of their more frenetic, chaotic 90s prog eccentricities, and now they concentrate more on songwriting and songcraft. And they've gotten amazing at it. It's all for the betterment of the band. Check them out. They're on Bandcamp. Echolin, Echolyn, if you need the spelling. My next band, I should have pulled out because I have a CD copy too. The band is Myth of Logic. It might be in my car because I've been listening to it in my car. The album is The Memory of After. The Memory of After. Came out November 2025. 8 songs, 80 minutes. That's the longest single CD out of everything on my list. And when you get 8 songs and 80 minutes, you know it's progressive rock, baby. This is Prog, I wrote down. Look for a full review coming up. And the main man in this band is Scott G. Davis. This is his 4th album in 4 years. So I will be doing a full review on Myth of Logic, The Memory of After, on my channel, coming up soon. Number 14, the honorable mentions, as we go down towards 12, so I only got 2 left. A band I used to listen to a lot in the 90s and 2000s. Saw them live in concert a bunch of times, I think once with Tori, once with Alanis Morissette. I'm talking about a quartet where the female vocalist is from Scotland, and then there are 3 gentlemen from the Pacific Northwest. Who am I talking about? Garbage! Long album title here. Let All That We Imagine Be the Light. Came out in May of 2025. 10 songs, 45 minutes, so once again, it's nice and compact. Shirley and the boys return with a sizzling selection of alt-rock tunes. Some of my faves on the album: Chinese Fire Horse, Sisyphus, Are You Happy Now? Those are probably my 3 favorite songs. And now I'm going to mention my last honorable mention. It is a progressive rock album. It is only 2 songs. It clocks in at 42 minutes. It came out March, and it's by the great Steven Wilson. The Overview is the name of the album. Now, I prefer the 23-minute song, track 1, Objects Outlive Us, over the 18-minute title track, The Overview. But it's cool to have Mr. Wilson back into long-form songwriting and back into prog. The second song title track is good too. She's got maybe a little too much of the skittering electronic music, and I prefer the first song better. Really good album still. Check it out. Steven Wilson, The Overview. That is my number 13. My last honorable mention, Davey Cretin here for Cretin Classics. I want everyone to like and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, why don't you? It doesn't cost you anything. It's free. So please subscribe to Cretin Classics. Like the video. Remember to rock out, prog on, and pogo. And I will see you in the next video, which will be sooner than you think. Thanks. Happy New Year. Stay safe, be well, and may the force and the farce be with you. Cheers. Bye-bye.